Welcome back to another episode of the Critics Collective. I am Legacy Lingo, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this review of The Last Showgirl, starring Pamela Anderson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Brenda Song, and Kiernan Shipka. This one is a limited release in theaters. By the time you see this review, it may already be on streaming. A lot of companies have been doing it, dropping it for a week or two. Limited release. It did come out very, very limited release back in December, and now it is having a little bit more of an open release, which just happened on January 8th, which I had the pleasure to go ahead and see, and then it will have a wider release on January 10th. So you can find it in theaters, and if you don't get to see it in theaters, it will be on streaming platforms shortly after that. So, The Last Showgirl, the synopsis. IMDb has it as a seasoned showgirl must plan her future when her show abruptly closes after a 30-year run. That is probably the best synopsis I've seen ever. IMDb, straight to the point, very accurate. My initial impression when I came across this, when I saw that this movie was coming, I was immediately intrigued. Unfortunately for me, I had the wrong impression. When I saw The Last Showgirl, and I think of Pamela Anderson and some of the type of roles, being a sex symbol from Baywatch and the videos, the stuff that have leaked, I immediately thought we were going to get something similar to the movie Showgirls, and so that was my initial impression. Like, oh, is Pamela Anderson gonna rock the world again? And now remember, I don't watch trailers, so this was an experience going in with my assumptions. I didn't read the synopsis, didn't watch the trailer, and I just jumped right in there, which is what I'm going to go ahead and do with this review. Um, I'm going to start with my highs. I'm going to steal another page from the Dad Panther and start with my lows. When this movie started, it started off, and you start seeing all of the cast. Even Dave Bautista was in this, and Billie, Lourd. There was so many people, so many faces. I'm like, wow. And they're shooting in Las Vegas, and it was obvious they had somewhat of a budget. And but the way it was being shot, the graininess, the out of focus, a lot of times, the constant movement of the camera, unnecessary movement, it seems so amateur. It seems so cheap. And I was like, how did they have such a major production, and how did they get these people on such a cheap production? That was my thoughts at first, and it was bothering me in the first few minutes of the movie, to the point where I was wondering, oh boy, what did I sign up for? What am I about to get? And then the story starts taking place, and it's a little slow in the beginning, where I'm not really sure what I'm getting. But remind you, I came in with the wrong impression of what I was getting. All right, so now I'm actually gonna to go into my highs. Surprise, surprise! I didn't have that many lows. When I get into the film and start realizing what the story is about, and where it's going, I start appreciating what I'm getting more. I'm excited to see where it's going. I realize it's not anything that's going to be over sexualized like the movie Showgirls. This is its own thing, and I need to just get out of my own way and enjoy it. And I started really soaking in the story, the different characters. Pamela Anderson was putting on quite a performance. You really felt the anxiety and the things that she was going through. And this film ends up being the way it was shot, and all the grainy, the out of focus, and the chaos, the way the camera was moving, and it really started to make sense because of the way the character was. This film is basically trying to really put you in the head of Pamela Anderson and her, however you want to call it. I don't want to spoil, but I would probably use the word, just her perspective, her the way she sees the world, her perception of things. And that's how the film is shot. And I thought it was genius. I thought it was beautifully done. I thought the story was done. I thought all the characters, there were multiple characters that were kind of in their own delusion or their own bubble. Even though Pamela Anderson was the lead, but even the people around her were kind of dealing with some stuff. And the way that they played that out, as they're dealing with the fact that this show that's been paying all their bills, that they've been a part of in Vegas, it's the end of an era. And it's also going to be life changing for some of them, especially Pamela Anderson's character. So the way everybody's story was playing out, the way everybody was introduced, developed well, the way you saw everybody kind of having their little hysteria or their delusions about what they're dealing with or what they're up against. It was just done so beautifully. It was written so well. And then to make it even better, just as uh just as we get to the end and they bring it to a close, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Okay. Cause I do want to warn you, you start to worry, as I read the synopsis, this is about the show that Pamela Anderson has been a part of for over 30 years coming to an end and how she deals with it. I worried that the movie was actually going to try and go beyond that to see what she does, and we were going to get something way longer than I, and I was like, oh man, this I'm in for a ride. But this is actually it doesn't go too long. It gets right to that. It gives you the ending that you get, and then it all makes sense. And I thought it was just done very well, shot very well. I thought the acting was phenomenal. I love Dave Bautista's character. Everybody in this did a good job. And this was actually directed by um, Gia Coppola, who's the granddaughter of Francis Ford Coppola. This is something that I recommend everybody go see. With that being said, let me go ahead and rate this thing. Our critics collective ratings, we give accolades. They go from 0 to 5, 5 being excellent, a must watch, highly recommended for all viewers. 4 accolades, good, worth watching, but has notable flaws. 3 accolades, average, some enjoyable moments, but lack significant impact. 2 accolades, below average, some redeeming qualities, but generally disappointing. 1 accolade, poor quality, not recommended. Or 0 accolades, horrible, absolute trash. Now, I want to tell you, the fact that I did not have really any lows, I started off thinking that they were lows until I started accepting them. I really have no lows. So that with that being said, I have to give this movie 5 accolades. I feel like it was excellent. And it touched me emotionally. You started feeling, even whether you agree with these characters or not, whether you wanted them to see it from a different perspective or not, you just felt it. It was an emotional ride. Some of it was a little frustrating, but that was the whole point. Though that was the actual goal, I believe, of the writer and director, is to get you feeling some type of way, whether you agree or disagree, and just get you in the chaos of this show coming to an end and this era coming to an end. So I'm definitely going to give it 5 accolades. If you can't catch it in theaters, please give it a shot whenever you see it on a streaming platform. I think it's definitely worth the watch. And then, if you can, please come back in the comments. Let me know if this review pushed you to watch it. Let me know how you felt about it, how many accolades you would give it. And while you're at it, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe, hit the alert button, join our collective community, and let's just keep these reviews coming and to keep that conversation going. Again, I want to thank you guys for joining us on an episode of the Critics Collective. This was the review of The Last Showgirl, which you can right now find in theaters, and you should be able to find it on a streaming platform shortly after. I'm Legacy Lingo, and we will see you guys on the next one.